I'm Dr. Benjamin Bisger, and this is a lesson on pain tolerance versus pain ignorance. Pain tolerance is what almost everyone says when they refer to being able to endure much pain. As far as I know, I'm the first to say pain ignorance, especially at least in terms of people who deal with pain perhaps rather inappropriately. So the word tolerance means we can tolerate it. And to tolerate it, I think would mean that we are aware of it and we choose to not be bothered by it. That would be tolerance. So what's the difference with ignorance? Well, that means we're ignorant. That means we don't know about it and therefore we just ignore it. Or maybe it's there, but we tune it out. Those are two very different things. After all, you might still at the end say, well, for example, let's say I can tolerate a baby crying. Well, I can hear the baby crying and, oh, that's my son, and he's just a baby, he can't help it, and he's fine. And I can tolerate that because I love him, and I know it's just a phase. Or I can ignore it. And my wife calls to me, Ben, the baby's crying. What? What are you talking about? Oh, that would be ignorance. Now, I have never been given the gift of being able to ignore a baby's cry, nor have I been given the gift of tolerance for that. But if you understand that illustration, now we can apply it to pain. So someone who is has a job to do, or perhaps something a hobby or a sport that they love to do, and they are feeling pain, but they ignore it. They choose, as some coaches or trainers have taught, then they just push and go and push and go, and they essentially transmute the pain into this idea that pain is gain, and that pain, as I've heard before from certain rather tough individuals, that pain is weakness leaving the body. Well, that is a very flawed form of thinking in most cases. Yes, there are some sorts of pain that are worth pushing through. I have taught on that before, but my experience is most people, when they push through pain, are pushing through something that's not worth it, and they're doing it for far too long and far too often. Whereas once in a great while, and in isolation, surrounded by proper body mechanics and good exercise, probably is not a big deal. So, with pain tolerance, I look at a certain problem, like I need to move these plants inside before the frost hits. Okay, I have to get this job done, I must do it tonight, so I do it as wisely as I can, and if there is some amount of pain, I choose that pain is worth enduring to do this job, to save the plants, or whatever that job might be. Whereas, if I think I ought to be able to do this, and, well, I just need to get it done, and I ignore the pain, pushing through it, like tuning out any sign that my body is under stress, well, there are a lot of problems with that. Among them, how can I learn about something I'm ignoring? So, if I tune into the pain and tolerate it by choice, I can then say, wow, that was a lot harder than I thought, and I can know for next time, I'm probably not going to do that. Or, instead, if I ignore it, and I can't learn from it, then I'll probably do that again and return to the scene of the crime. Well, don't step in that hole. If I come back this way and I step in that hole, that's my own problem for ignoring it. So, there's another problem. I can tell a patient who ignores pain instantly. They come in and tell me they have severe pain, it's everywhere, all the time. I already know instantly that patient ignores pain, and yet, well, how can that be? They just told me about their pain. They told me it's there all the time. So how can you say, doc, that they are ignoring it when, in fact, they are feeling it constantly? What I mean is, only someone who ignores pain so well can be so ignorant to the details of it. Like, is it sharp? Is it sore? Is it dull? Where is it really? Because no one truly suffers pain, at least no one I've met, everywhere in their body all the time at severe levels. Instead, what those patients really mean is they have severe pain in a variety of areas. It may vary day to day, or maybe at different times of the day, and it's not literally the whole body, but in fact enough of it that they feel like they can make their point more quickly by saying that. And yet when I ask them what helps or what hurts or so on, they often struggle to tell me many details about that pain. Someone who tolerates pain by the other hand, maybe is still unhappy with their situation, but can tell me what exactly provokes it, how they try to avoid it, because they are tuned into it. This may seem backwards to tune into your pain. Doesn't that mean you're going to suffer more? Does that mean you'll feel more pain and hurt more? Well, yes, in the short term, but the pain's already there. You'll just be more aware of it. So for me, I am constantly tuned into my pain. I'm constantly tuning in for sharp, true pain, fast pain. And yes, there are times, certainly times in the past, where I have tuned out dull discomfort, where I have pushed through it many, many times. That's a lesson I am unlearning. And it's been years in the process to unlearn it. So, for me, I want to live with pain tolerance, but I never want to be ignorant. There is nothing I can think of in this world that I want to remain ignorant of if it involves my health, my happiness, my wellness, my activity, the good that I can do on earth. And I know many people who have pushed through too much pain by ignoring it, by pushing it aside, by using their body like a tool, not as if they are married to it, but as if it is some object for them to abuse and ignore. And they've reached a point in their life where they can do nothing that they love and nothing that they need. Those are very unhappy people. So, tune in, don't tune out. Pay attention to the details and learn and modify, change, and improve. Now there's one downside to this, in terms of tuning into your pain, becoming a hypochondriac. How do you know if what you're tuning into is really important or not? Does every pain matter, and should you react and respond to every single thing you feel and be concerned about it? Well, of course, there's an extreme version of anything. And what I say to you is no, that you have to listen to your body and tune into the things, well, it's easy for me to say, tune into the things that matter. How do you know if they matter? If they are brief, fleeting, changing location often, and don't make sense of how they've come on or why they've gone away, I would put those on the back burner. Things that you feel that are instantly a clear response to something you've done, absolutely, those are a priority. And those are the things I would learn from. So this is a lesson on pain tolerance versus pain ignorance. And I'll tell you, there are many things I can tolerate in this world, but a forest full of mosquitoes is not one of them. I'm Dr. Benjamin Visger, and I should have worn bug spray.